You second guess yourself. You overthink every decision. You want to trust yourself, but the doubt is always there. What if I told you that self-trust isn't something that you're born with? It's something that you build. In today's video, I am breaking down exactly how to develop deep, unshakable trust with yourself. So let's dive in. So why do we struggle to trust ourselves? Well, for one, most of us have been conditioned to look for external validation. So this could be looking for the corner office. It could be the perfect job, the perfect spouse. It could be looking for validation within our church, within our role in a family. It could be looking for validation from our parents, from our mentors, just from society in general, of what they tell us that we're supposed to want to achieve. So instead of looking for what would bring us joy, we think that by driving and striving for the end goal, that the end goal will bring us joy, as opposed to the experience that we have on the journey there. And so that's one. Another is we often confuse fear with intuition, and we end up doubting ourselves. So we get those little niggling doubts, and intuition feels different. Intuition will feel more like a lean in, opposed to fear, which feels like a contraction or a lean away. Our intuition will give us more of an expansive feeling versus fear, which will give us a feeling of contraction. We don't follow through on our own commitments. And I don't just mean with our own commitments to other people, but the commitments that we make to ourselves. So, what are 3 ways that we can rebuild this? Or maybe it feels like we've never have it and we're just going to build it from scratch. So, first off, we want to keep promises that we make to ourselves. So, self trust is built through consistency and not perfection. You maybe heard me talk about this before. I love the use of micro shifting. So, we want to make these little tiny actions consistently versus a big, sweeping, broad action. So, this could mean if I want to eat better, I'm going to consistently eat better, even it maybe is just in the morning for breakfast at first. And then I can build on that as I go. Or maybe I want it to be health. And where I can start with that is walking every day. And then I can add on and add on and add on as I go, building. But we've got these little tiny micro pieces that will come into play. Maybe I'm working on integrity and the baseline of all of my work. And within that, we talk about I'm going to be more honest. So if I want more people to be honest with me, am I being honest with myself? And as I'm learning how to be honest with myself, am I being honest with others? So if my desire in my life is honesty, to have honest relationships, how am I showing up for those? So maybe it is the micro step of saying, when somebody says, how are you doing today? I answer more honestly. So instead of just saying, good, great, maybe I say, oh, you know what? Today is a rougher day. How are you doing? It doesn't mean we have to get into the big story. It doesn't mean we have to be Debbie Downer. It means that we can be honest with people. Instead of maybe being the people pleaser, where would you like to go for dinner? And you say, oh, wherever you like to go, doesn't matter to me. We go, bull, it does matter. And we take a pause and check in. What do I want? Do I feel like Italian? Tacos? Where do I feel like going for dinner? And answer the question. This is where I'd like to go tonight. Or if that's really uncomfortable, maybe you micro it down and you give 2 options so that the person still has some choice in there. But we actually answer the question and give people an opportunity to see us truthfully. So little tiny micro steps. And then two, we stop asking for permission. So the more you look outside for validation, the more you disconnect from your truth. 100% true. So, as I said in the very beginning, why do we not trust ourselves? Because we're looking for external validation. We're trying to fit in with what society says we're supposed to want and what we're supposed to do, how we're supposed to show up. And so we don't really learn how to be authentic. So, who do I want to be? Who do I choose to be? Did it even occur to me that I had a choice? Or did I think I just had to do what everybody else expected me to do? And over time, I've had this discomfort, anxiety. Anxiety is a huge emotion that often shows up for ourselves because we're not in integrity with ourselves. We're spewing, we're blaming, we're not looking at things, and we're not in integrity with ourselves. What do I want to do? And so we stop asking for permission from other people and we start making our own choices without polling them. So instead of say that simple question, where do you want to go for dinner? Instead of saying, like, oh, I don't like, it doesn't matter to me. Where do you want to go? And we start asking everybody, okay, well, 5 people want pizza. So we want pizza. If you were asked the question, just answer the question. Where do you want to go? What are you craving? What makes you happy? What brings you joy? Maybe not every day, but what brings you joy right now? I always say when people ask me, what's my favorite color? I don't have one. I'm moody. My favorite color today might be fuchsia and tomorrow it could be orange. I don't have one. So same goes for music for me. I don't have a favorite music. I'm moody. Sometimes I'm going to want to listen to something soft and classical. Sometimes I'm going to want country. Sometimes I'm going to want pop. Sometimes, I'm moody. I don't know. So what is it that we feel like? Can we make a choice for ourselves? Can we get quiet for a moment and check in? What do I want? What do I feel like? So we need to learn to stop asking for permission. And within that, I would also add in stopping justification. So even the simple little things, like we go to the grocery store and they say, do you need a bag? And you say, no, maybe you could say, no, thank you. I have a bag in the car. What if you just said, no, and just smiled? Or if that's too hard, maybe it's just, no, thank you. And just don't justify yourself anymore. Practice it. What would it feel like to not ask for permission and to not justify your choices and decisions? And then listen to your body and not your fear. So, what does that feel like? As I said before, when we're looking at intuition versus fear. So, our body always knows when something's aligned or misaligned. So, if the mind is racing too much and is too pulled out into the outer world, we can check in with our somatic experience, with our body, and see what's happening there. So, where do I feel like a gentle, draw forward? Maybe I feel a pull back. Maybe I feel expansive versus contraction. Maybe I feel like I resonate, I vibrate a little higher as opposed to feeling a little denser. Maybe when it's not as easy for me to know when I'm in alignment, maybe it's easier for me to notice when I'm out of alignment. Maybe I have been out of alignment for so long that I don't really know what joy feels like. Maybe I've been out of alignment for so long, I don't really know what gratitude feels like. So maybe it's easier to tune in to the misalignment than it is the alignment. And so within the misalignment, maybe is the contraction. There's also the emotions that go with misalignment, the lineages of fear. That could be anxiety, panic, worry, unworthiness. It could be the lineage of anger, irritation, frustration, resentment, grief, sorrow, worry. Those are all ways that we know we're moving out of alignment. And our soul or spirit is trying to talk to us and it's trying to say, hey, this isn't our right answer. This isn't our truth. And so we can start listening to the physical experience, to start understanding and hearing the whispers of our intuition, of our soul, if we haven't been listening for a long time, so that we can rebuild that relationship and begin to know or learn how to fully trust ourselves once again. It's kind of like children were never born resilient. We have to learn how to be resilient. And we learn to be resilient through difficulty. And that's why when we say pain is inevitable and suffering is optional, pain is inevitable. There's going to be hurt. There's going to be hurt from other people. There's going to be physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain. But the suffering comes from our thoughts regarding it. And so when we start to act from fear, we're actually increasing our suffering. And when we try to protect ourselves or other people from having pain, then what happens is we are unable to become resilient. Resiliency is the strength that we gain by experiencing pain and moving through it. Yes, I've felt heartbreak. Yes, I have felt betrayal. Suffering would be caused by my closing my heart and not allowing myself to feel that pain again, to protect myself from the pain, and therefore not also be able to explore and feel the positive, to feel love. And so I can't just block one, I end up blocking both. And in this is how we build the resiliency. And the same goes for self-trust. We learn how to trust ourselves by exploring and playing with it. And yes, sometimes we're going to drop the ball. We were taught to go into the outer world to look for external validation. So today's a new day. What about now? Can you explore yourself now? Who cares about yesterday anymore? It's done. You can't change it. You can look back at it and learn from it. But even that, a past experience without an emotion allows us to change it into wisdom. A past experience with an emotion causes a trigger or a reaction. And so, yes, we want to know what happened in the past so that we can explore it, understand it, and gain the wisdom from it without creating a suffering component to it, a trigger or reaction. And that's how we start to learn how to trust ourselves again. Little bits, little tiny micro adjustments each day. So who do you choose to be today? How will you show up for yourself today? What is one thing that you can do to increase self-trust today? Want deeper support? Download my free future self visualization. It's in the description of this video. And if you want even more support, join our Awakening Circle community on Facebook and strengthen our self-trust together. Remember, you are your own healer, and every step you take is a step towards self-empowerment. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone you think could use it. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights and more inspiration. If you'd like more support, check out my website, practicalspiritualismco.com. We've got a blog there. You can check me out on all the socials under Dawn Elgin or Practical Spiritualism. And until next time, I see the light in you, and it is brilliant. It's the blessings.